Alright, before we start off, let me tell you something about myself. I'm both a Thunder and a Rockets fan. Yeah, I'm a two-team fan, whatever. I mean, you can hate me all you want. I like two teams. I like the Thunder because of Westbrook, and I like the Rockets because they had Jay Smooth at one time, and Patrick Beverley's one of my favorite players. Okay? Okay, we done? We done. So this first round series matchup is great for me. Like, I'm so hyped for it. So therefore, I probably over-exaggerated a little bit in the title, but that's okay, isn't it? Can't I be happy that two of my favorite teams are playing against each other in the playoffs? But anyway, at least in my eyes, this is going to be one of the best first round matchups in NBA history. Now, I'm going to admit I didn't really do my research on this, but just coming from my biased self, I think it's going to be. And others around me will too, even if you're not fans. But anyway, here are 4 reasons why the Rockets Thunder first round matchup will be one of the best in NBA history. And yeah, I pretty much did put 4 reasons why because I'm trying to get views. Shout out to Funky. Alright, the first one is pretty obvious. These are 2 of the best players in the NBA right now, putting up some of the greatest seasons that the NBA has ever seen. And we get to see them go one-on-one versus each other. It's literally the personification of the MVP race in itself. I just wish that Adam Silver would just let it slide this one time so the winner of this series could win MVP. That would be beautiful. That would be excellent. But of course, they're not gonna do that. But anyway, these 2 play so similarly alike, it's almost scary. If you look at their stats, they're nearly identical. Here, I'll show them right here while I'm just talking in the background. But as you can see, they're nearly identical. They play as dominant ball handlers, driving and kicking, racking up assists and boards, as well as points. And now we get to see that play against one another in possibly a 7-game series. And like I said before, this is sort of like the personification of the MVP race. The winner of this series would honestly show who's the better player. Yeah, you could say the Rockets sort of have a better team, but honestly, if Russ is the better player, he'll come through in the series. If Harden's the better player, he'll come through in the series. It's this or that, tit for tat. Hey yo, I actually rhymed there. Shout out to Chris Smooth! Alright, before you call me crazy, hear me out. Just hear me out, please. While it's a general consensus that the Rockets are better than the Thunder without Russ or Harden on their teams, I mean, we can't forget what the Thunder has. They still have quality guys like Oladipo, Kanter, Adams, Roberson. Well, on defense, he's a beast. On offense, not so much. But anyway, I'm just telling you that there are some people out there who probably think that the Thunder are better. But this series will decide it once and for all. Who's actually the better team? I mean, the Rockets have been doing what they've been doing all season, letting it fly from downtown, splashing threes all over everyone, Mike D'Antoni, revamping the offense, you know, making it a superpower, offensive superpower. However, they only have an average defense, which isn't very good in playoff time, despite the Thunder not being a very good offensive team. It especially doesn't help that Lou Williams will be a vital scorer off the bench for them. Lou Williams has been known to revert in the playoffs, and as I mentioned in a previous video, he's only 6'1", 175 pounds, so he's not gonna play defense on athletic guys like Jeremy Grant. And then there's the Thunder, who basically just revolve around Russell. I said basically, they do revolve around Russell Westbrook. What they have going on is basically Russell Westbrook, then a bunch of other defensive guys, you know, Oladipo, Roberson, Adams, Gibson off the bench. Jeremy's a pretty good defender. And they just let Russ do all of the work offensively pretty much, which could lead to some major stats come playoff time. But what's going to be really interesting in the clash between these 2 teams is the fact that Andre Roberson and Patrick Beverley exist. Now, Harden doesn't do well against the Thunder at all. I mean, those stats right there, they're abysmal. At least for an MVP candidate. And you know why? Because Andre Roberson. This man bothers him at any given opportunity because he focuses all his energy on defense anyway. So he can just bother Harden all he wishes. And Russ can just be on Ariza and, you know, hang out. And then on the flip side, there's Patrick Beverley, who does the exact same thing with a little added bit of offense there. Sure, he's undersized at 6'1", but he can still bother the heck out of Russell Westbrook. I read in an article somewhere that Beverley describes Russ in one of those elite group of players in the NBA that people like him, Russ, and Rondo are in. So yeah, that shows you how much he respects him. But on the court, he's a dog on Russ. So Harden does really bad against the Thunder so far in the regular season. Will that change in the playoffs? So far in the season, the Thunder are a pretty bad road team. If you see the stats here, they just don't do as well. And since the Rockets won more games, that means they'll have more home court throughout the series. So can the Thunder step it up or can they not? can Russ and his defensive players tote up against this 3-point bombing squad? That's just something to think about, ponder on, which is why I'm so excited for it. Anyway, on to the next one. Now, the questions that I asked before are one of the reasons, not one of the big reasons why I'm really excited for this playoff series. One of the main reasons is because of the regular season matchups. Yeah, I know there are injuries in like a few of those games with Patrick Beverley, who's going to be a major factor at all times. I mean, he's going to be out there bothering Westbrook and whatnot. But still, 3 out of the 4 games were decided by less than 3 points. The first one was an absolute thriller with Russ dunking on Capella to end the game. Oh my gosh. The other 2 were really close as well. And then the fourth one was a blowout, fueled by Lou Williams' 31 points. But like I said before, Lou tends to regress in the playoffs. And if he follows the same pattern, then the Rockets can't rely on their bench as much as they could before. Oh, and I forgot to mention, 2 out of these 4 games were nationally televised. And I don't even mean ESPN or NBA TV, I mean on ABC. The one where you see the Cavs versus the Warriors and Spurs and elite teams like that. That just shows its significance right there, all in itself. I mean, those games were extremely entertaining, especially for me as a fan of both teams. But if the pattern continues, then we can be up for a great first round matchup right here. Perhaps one of the greatest of all time. Like I said before, I haven't done my research on this, but seriously, 3 out of the 4 games decided by less than 3 points. I feel like that's unheard of, even though it probably isn't, so go ahead, roast me in the comments, I'm fine with it. But anyway, on to the next one. Alright, I'm pretty sure this is the last thing on people's minds right now, but step into Harden's shoes for a little bit. After being the 6th man behind 2 other elite players in a near championship run, and you're just out here feeling hype, you're ready to go on to the next season and win a championship, you just get traded because the owner didn't feel like paying up. He didn't feel like giving one of the focal parts of their offense a max contract because he was too cheap. Then, in his new team, he absolutely dominates and gets snubbed from the MVP once in 2015. And then he was snubbed from the All-NBA team in 2016. And now he has a chance to get snubbed again in 2017. Now, in the first round of the playoffs, he gets to go up against his old team and prove that he's better than them, that he's grown past them, that he's on a higher level than them, and even that he should win MVP. His first challenge of the playoffs is to get past his old team, that old hump that I still think may be there. And his team is contending for a finals right now. However, he has to go through his old team first. That's the thing. I think Harden will definitely have his motor switch to another gear this playoff series. I feel he wants to prove something. Not only that he should be the MVP, but that he's better than his old team. And then there's Russ's side, who's going to be uber competitive, trying to get them to the next round of the playoffs and hold on as long as possible. Is it true? I have no idea. I don't know what Harden is thinking. No one knows what Harden is thinking. But that's just my educated guess. Well, okay guys, there you got it. 4 reasons why this will be one of the best first round matchup series of all time. If you have anything at all to contribute to the conversation, leave it down in the comment section below. I want opinions, as always, good or bad, doesn't really matter. And also, remember, if you like the video, do the obvious thing. And with that, I'm out.
They know that I'm ballin'. James Harden, Tom Coughlin. Beat the odds, never thought it. Blast off like the Rockets. Now I got dough in my pocket. Getting bucks, meal walking. And how can I worry about haters when I'm triple-double in the profit?